Good evening, and welcome to GWT News. I'm your anchor, Laurel Underwood, and tonight we're going to be talking about the tragedy that struck DeLand, Florida over the weekend. As I'm sure many of you have already heard, the tragedy first struck when a truck going down New York Avenue struck a tree containing unknown chemicals. Police and firefighters were the first to arrive on scene. 13 people were taken to the hospital within the first 3 hours. As sad as this sounds, it was about to get much worse for the small town of DeLand. After the 13 had been taken to the hospital, within the first half hour, 11 had died. As doctors were preparing the autopsies of the 11 bodies, it seemed that the bodies had reanimated or come back to life. The doctors, scared of this new phenomenon, ran out of the room. The zombie-like creatures, as the reanimated corpses have been named, soon followed the doctors. When they reached the patient rooms, they soon started to attack the patients by biting and even, it seemed, eating some of their flesh. Widespread panic occurred as more and more patients died from the bites of these reanimated zombie-like creatures. These flesh-eating creatures soon escaped the hospital, quickly spreading around the small town. The town was quickly shut down, even the local Waffle House. Everyone was told to stay in their homes, to stay safe, and to keep the news on. After 2 days, people were starting to run out of supplies and needed to go out into the town. Scientists were called in to see if anything could be done about these reanimated corpses. The scientists had quickly been eaten and destroyed by the zombies, but not before they discovered something very important. They realized after the corpses had died, but before they became reanimated, it seems part of their brains had been destroyed. Their frontal lobe had been completely destroyed. They had no way to speak, they had no planning experience or thoughts, and they also could not smell. In fact, it seemed that all of their brain had been damaged besides the temporal lobe. Having their temporal lobe meant that the zombies' hearing was phenomenal, and that they were able to recognize faces, mainly the difference between zombie and human faces. Zombies were not attacking other zombies. Scientists had discovered this 2 days into the destruction. Thankfully, internet and cable were still mostly available in the small town. A young pair of roommates set out on the town with an idea they had. They realized if the zombies could not smell but could only see, they themselves could make themselves into zombies. They went out into town with their full-on zombie makeup to see if they could get supplies. They found out that they could. They quickly decided they needed to share this news with the rest of the town. They put the following video up on YouTube. I start with liquid latex as a base to her forehead and cheeks and beginning of nose. This is what it should look like once applied. Then, using a mixture of the liquid latex and everyday oatmeal, you should be able to just apply it into the face. The point of this will be to later look like wounds. Then you need to blow dry, all the way until all the liquid latex is dry. Take a 1-ply tissue, rip around the edges. Take this rip piece and apply to the nose, using a sponge and liquid latex to create texture. This is to create wounds and deformities that a corpse would show on their nose, maybe from a bite or attack. Now make sure that the liquid latex previously applied has been dried. Once dry, we can start tearing at the liquid latex to create the look of wounds. So I'm using a pen cap to simply create some tears in the liquid latex. You can also use your fingernail or a needle. Then, once you have created the small tears, you're going to use your fingers to create bigger tears in the look of dry, flaking off skin. Next, I'm going to apply foundation. Now, many people would use white foundation, but the thing is, even corpses are not white. They do have some color. So make sure when you're looking for foundation to use the lightest color you can find, but not white. Make sure to heavily apply foundation over any of the oatmeal or liquid latex rips. Once the foundation is done, apply powder to create a matte, dead finish. Now, using a small makeup brush, use a mix of navies and purples. Add these into the wounds you created and also into the oatmeal mixture. The point of this is to give the look of bruising. Now, using a matte gray shadow, create shadows under the eyes. You're also going to apply these to the base of the eyes in order to make them look sunken in. Using the same shadow, create contour under the cheekbones. As a corpse, your cheeks would be sunken in. You're trying to create this illusion. I am now going back over everything I had done with a green powder. The green gives the look of decaying, dying, diseased skin. I am now going around the eyes and nose again with a black, darker powder. This is just to give the eyes and nose a more of a sunken in feel. Now carefully, you can start adding fake blood, which is just a mix of red food coloring and corn syrup. To give the illusion of older dried blood, I'm going over the lighter blood in straight gel food coloring. It gives it a dark, chunky look, which makes it look like goops of old blood from killing someone. We now have our finished zombie look. With a little bit of moaning and groaning, we can hopefully fit in with the zombies and go to get some final supplies that we desperately need. Thanks to the bravery of these two young girls, the small city of DeLand was able to survive. After 3 days, the government was able to put together a military task force who was able to take out all the zombies, also using this makeup camouflaging technique. This has been our only reported case of zombies in the United States, but that does not mean it'll be our last. Hopefully, with this technique, we'll be able to combat any future zombies. Thank you for watching GWT News. Have a nice night.